Thank you, Professor. Dear colleagues, good morning. Of course, I cannot but express my gratitude to Professor Camelli. Approximately 1 year ago, when I arrived in Rome at the beginning of my mission, I was contacted by AlmaLaurea for a project concerning a consortium in Armenia and some more countries of the European Union. It was one of those rare cases in which a conflict of interest is also something pleasant. 14 years ago, after graduating in international sciences in Gorizia, what I did was also to fill in the questionnaire, and soon came my first job contract. And then, of course, my life took a different direction. The conflict of interest is twofold even today. I am sort of bearing witness to the Italian model of university education and the possibility of relating it to the world of Eastern Europe and former Soviet Union. This morning we heard presentations focusing on the critical aspects of the Italian university system. We heard about many things to improve, but I can tell you that in my last 10 years of international activity, I was protected and sheltered by the Italian university system, and I feel I'm a product of that system. Somehow, other colleagues who had a background in social sciences from the Italian universities were extremely creative as compared to others who have a high-ranking foreign backgrounds. Now, the AlmaLaurea project in Armenia, it's an ambitious project which capitalizes on the AlmaLaurea expertise using tools such as Tempus, which is not largely used. I know that this could bring about a major dramatic social change, also a sustainable one for the Armenian system. Somehow with this project, one is exporting an Italian prototype. AlmaLaurea is an excellent Italian prototype developed at the University of Bologna, which somehow is turning into an idea, a concept to be exported abroad. And this too has spin-off effects that we will see in the medium and long term in the eastern part of Europe. Knowledge economy was mentioned this morning. The point of arrival of many years of crisis, the point of arrival of what we love to call the conversion or transformation of crisis into an opportunity. From the Armenian perspective, we also believe that the emerging system will be based on expertise, on knowledge, and perhaps will live in a different system, in a different world. This will be a major change in this century. Because of, or thanks to the ongoing crisis, this will be the case everywhere, not just in the Western world. Now, if this was seen in the current dynamics of the social and cultural reality of Armenia, I believe that exporting AlmaLaurea in our country is a virtuous exercise of international cooperation. You know, many Western countries spend a lot in cooperation projects which do not generate any spin-off effects in the long term. They remain at the level of mere financial contributions. Instead, AlmaLaurea generates self-sustainable networks, virtuous networks. There's utopia among our generation of Armenians. You know, among top officials, top state officials in Armenia, the mean age is 28 to 35. Why? Because it is a generation which is reaching the state utopia after many years of absence of state interventions. You know, the Armenian people has a history of 3,000 years of existence on the territory where we are based, but we have had only 22 years of independence. We strongly believe in utopias. Concerning the social and economic spheres, we push a lot for startups and venture capital so that undertakings can be established with as few obstacles as possible. This is also the AlmaLaurea scenario. Without being redundant, I would really like to express my greatest gratitude to AlmaLaurea. Thank you. Now the floor to the Tunisian Council General in Genoa. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Mr. Dionigi, Professor Dionigi, Rector of the University of Bologna, Professor Fabio Alberto Roversi, Monaco, President of AlmaLaurea, Professor Andrea Camelli, Director of AlmaLaurea, Honorable Professor Angelo Riccaboni, Rector of the University of Siena and President of the Crui Foundation, ladies and gentlemen, honorable guests, please allow me to present my warmest thanks and my respectful homage to the organizing committee for their kind invitation to participate in this conference and also for the generous hospitality which we have enjoyed in this beautiful city of Bologna. I'm pleased to notice that all presentations have been of perfect quality this morning. I see also large participation in this meeting, which is on invitation, and it focuses on a topic which is very up-to-date in all countries, that is the job placement of graduates and young people in general. Ladies and gentlemen, Since the independence of my country in 1956, the Tunisian education system has gone through major progress. Efforts were focused on developing a system which is such as to produce a sound human capital basis which can meet the requirements of a country which is undergoing development. Teaching is free of charge. The Tunisian families are interested in having their children go to school from the age of 6 to the age of 16. All these factors have certainly contributed to mass attendance in higher education as well during the last 2 decades. The Tunisian universities at the present time have 340,000 students, of whom 67% are women, and 68,000 graduates are generated every year. They join the other diploma and degree holders who seek employment in line with their aspirations. The number of unemployed is 250,000, that is 33% of the working population. The time that a graduate or a diploma holder must wait to find a job in Tunisia ranges from 3 to 8 years. This is easily explained by the economic crisis of Tunisia after the revolution of January 14th, 2011. As you know, this revolution was based on values such as freedom, dignity, and social justice. Following the social uprisings and the war in Libya, which is a neighboring country, following also the euro crisis, which affected foreign trade, the situation was such that to meet certain challenges, the governments have, for 3 and more years, tried to consider as a priority the fact of giving a job to all. Growth and investments were also a priority, together with the need to meet additional relevant needs. New mechanisms were put in place, such as, for example, the National Solidarity Fund and the National Fund for Employment. Another example would be the National Bank of Solidarity. And finally, a microcredit banking system. In spite of this, all these mechanisms did not provide the expected results. Because of the sudden increase in the number of diploma holders and graduates that every year join the job market. Ladies and gentlemen, we're very pleased to hear about the success that Italian graduates have had in joining the job market, and we're also pleased to strengthen bilateral and multilateral cooperation. This conference invites us to identify the framework of this cooperation. The project, which is called Islam, is being implemented in conjunction with the Tunisian Ministry of Labour and other universities, together with Italy, with a view to increase job placement and allow for mobility of the graduates within the Mediterranean area. I'd like to take this opportunity to reiterate to the organizing committee that they really deserve my personal wishes for AlmaLaurea. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Grazie. La parola ora a Driss Rochdi, Consul Generale del Regno del Morocco.
Now, I'd like to give the floor to Driss Rochdi, who is the Consul General of the Kingdom of Morocco in Bologna. First of all, I'd like to thank, on behalf of the ambassador in Rome of my country, and also thank on my behalf also the president of the AlmaLaurea Foundation, and also thank them for the invitation to the ambassador to come to this conference that they are organizing today in this very prestigious university. The ambassador would have liked to have come, but unfortunately previous engagement prevented him from coming to Bologna. I would like to congratulate the foundation for its 20th anniversary. I'd also like to greet all the illustrious personages here, the Minister, Mr. Galetti, His Excellency Romano Prado, Madam Draghetti from the province of Bologna, the Vice-Chancellor of the University, Professor Dino Gigi, and all the illustrious representatives of Italian and foreign universities, and also the representatives of the region of Emilia-Romagna, the World Bank, the Union for the Mediterranean. I'd like to salute the other foreign guests here, the representative of the Republic of Serbia, and also the Council of Tunisia. We are seeing a very interesting subject in this meeting, which is, of course, the future of our young people, which is the most precious treasure that a company has. I followed the employment survey of graduates presented today by Mr. Camelli. I'd like to congratulate AlmaLaurea for this exhaustive survey that they always carry out. I appreciated also the presentations that followed. Thank you very much, and I wish you all the best in your future work. Thank you. Now I'd like to give the floor to Rade Berbakov, who is the first Counsellor of the Embassy of the Republic of Serbia in Italy. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank you and say how satisfied I am to be here in Bologna today. And I'd like to thank you for the invitation to be here at this important event. A particular word of thanks goes to the President Rovesci Monaco and to the Vice-Chancellor Dionigi and Professor Cammelli, and all those who have done such hard work to make this meeting a success. I'd like to extend greetings on behalf of the Ambassador of the Serb Republic, Ana Krstanovic, who unfortunately has been unable to attend, but sends you greetings and wishes you all the best, and is sure that this meeting will give us new food for thought and new avenues of an approach to develop the topics that AlmaLaurea is engaged in. Now, when I was invited and told I had to come, I said to myself, what shall I talk about? And I came to the conclusion that I should talk to you today about something rather than the institutional things, what our programs are and so on, and how we try to allow graduates to get into the working world, whether I should talk about this or whether I should talk about more tangible, concrete things that I have seen and in the last 4 years since I have been engaged in the relations between Italy and my country. I've decided to opt for the second option. Now, Italy and Serbia have a strategic agreement. It's not one of those agreements that politicians sign and then are locked away in a drawer and forgotten. It's really a collaboration agreement which works. In fact, because just this year, Italy's exports to Serbia have grown by 25%, and Serbian exports to Italy have grown by 100%. So we are up to 3.5 billion euros worth. Recently, a great deal has been said about the different companies that have come to Serbia from Italy. It's true, they have come to Serbia, and that's true, but I should underline that these companies came, but they didn't relocate and redeploy their company from elsewhere, because relocalization is a very glib word. They came to Serbia and they created jobs for Serbs, but also for many Italians, I can assure you. The market conditions were such that these companies could no longer produce in 4 Italian factories, say, and they had to close one in Italy or in other examples show that, for example, for Fiat, Mirafiori, the Naples factory was in a very difficult state, so they relocated. Now, when the Italians came to Italy, they needed highly qualified people to work the companies, as well as more competitive, lower skilled workers. Initially, Fiat brought its own managers, its own executives and head of departments to Serbia, and then they found things already in Serbia. And now, after some time, Fiat has signed various agreements, also with the university, and they have offered training courses, specialist courses, and the aim is to take on these graduates as soon as they graduate, to take them on in the company. Now, over and above this, Of course, there have been several knock-on companies or knock-on benefits of the arrival, say, of Fiat, and the setting up of companies, for example, IT companies that in turn produce for the larger company or produce to export to third countries. And this is something that we have to continually develop because there could be a bridgehead towards third-party countries with whom we have in fact signed trade agreements like Russia, Kazakhstan, and so on. When we talk about innovation, well, here too, this is not an exclusive process which goes in just one direction from the more developed to the less developed countries. Here too, today, this is a two-way process. Now, to show you this, I can cite an example which we saw 5-6 months ago in the embassy. We were contacted by a Serbian packaging company who asked to be put into contact with the Bologna packaging companies. We know that Bologna has a primary enjoys a primary situation in the packaging situation. We thought they wanted to buy some machines from the Bologna packaging companies. No, the Serbian company had been contacted by a large Bologna company because they saw that this small Serbian country had produced a very innovative packaging machine, and together they developed a joint venture, and they export now to 10 countries, even outside of Europe. So this is an example of globalization of the market, of course. Another issue that has to be looked at today, of course, is unemployment. Italian unemployment of 12.6. Well, I envy you because our unemployment rate is 25%. And then there's another thing that I'd like to say at this particular time. In Serbia, many people left in the 1990s for political reasons, but in the last decade, they have left simply because they are seeking better working and living opportunities. And this is a process that I can't see a way to stopping. Serbs go to Germany and Austria, the Italians will go to the United States or whatever. But I think that everything that we try and do, well, this brain drain or brain circulation, if we want to call it, is proceeding and can't be stemmed. But I don't want to be too pessimistic because I think that at the end of the day, anybody who has training and believes in themselves will find a position. When new graduates come to us and ask for help in getting a job, perhaps I'm a bit hypocritical, me who works for the public institutions. I always try to do something and say that they should do some things for themselves rather than try and get into a state institution. In other words, not ask what the country can do for you, but what you can do for yourselves, not for the country, for yourselves. And if they take that attitude, well, I think that we would have a reduction in unemployment. Well, I'd like to stop here, and I'd like to wish this meeting every success.